Top of the morning to you. Hey, I'm Michael. Grandkids call me Roo. Thank you for being on Roodoodles Facebook page, Roodoodles Live. It's Saturday morning. It's January the 16th. And, yep, hit the button right at 8:57 according to my computer clock. And but my watches and my clock. A man with two watches doesn't know what time it is. So, sometimes you just have to go out and read the sundial. Sun shone a little bit yesterday. I've been walking. Good morning to you. Got out in the sunshine a little bit. Look at that picture of me. My dad would say, son, you need a haircut or a dog tag. That may be in a song, too, that Ray Stevens did many years ago. Good morning, Chris Whitaker. You're on the show this morning. Thank you for being here. Kathy Pedroni, thank you for being here. Shanlon, Karen Binder, I like. It could be Bender, bend or bind. Hey, it's a one-sided show here. Dorothy, thank you for being on the show. Bob Heidenrich. What does he say this morning? Morning from the reverberating cornfields, fields of wow. Reminds me of John Hartford's song, doesn't it? It seems there was a longing for you still. If the whole song goes on and on. He said, this is before the days of reverb. I used to do that song on stage in some of my storytelling things. Oh, blah, 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 I have to do. I'm a crazy person. You know that? There's a lot of just fodder up there that I mean to make a story out of. Good morning, Roo, from Jessica. Jessica, thank you. Pauline Bold, thank you for being on from gloomy Minnesota. Bring on the colors. Susan Peters, Alice Durham, Patricia Brooks from Florida, where it's a little warmer always. Pat Webb Thrift. In Brunswick, Georgia, yes, in the hen house, she says. Good morning to you. I know Brunswick. I've had Brunswick stew, but I've actually been in Brunswick quite a bit. I used to go to Jekyll Island and all up through there. I used to play croquet at the Jekyll Island Club. Dress in white and go in and pretend I was somebody. It was fun. My kids all did that one time with me. It was pretty fun. Carol and I took them up. I did some storytelling at the Jekyll Island Club there. The one that's all wooden castle-looking place. And I'd go in there, and we had room 222, and that was the room that they always put us in. They come up and say, Mr. Hahn, you're going to do this. I go, no, don't call me Mr. Hahn. That's my dad. So anyway, it was fun. Icy morning from Teresa. Belinda, I think I said Belinda from Texas. Belinda, I'm sorry if I didn't. Atlantic House. Sydney, thank you for being on the show. And Denise, well, all the people, Skeeter Pal. What great Saturday en route. Skeeter, I love that photo you put on there. Denise Albright, thank you for being on the show. Laurie Bellucci, top of the morning to you, Roo. Attica, New York. Yes. Way upstate there. You're way up on the beautiful, outside Canandaigua and the Finger Lakes, way over to the side. I've gotten around as a country boy. You know what? Let's get ready to rumble. Annette Island. I like them. They're funny. I hope you're keeping up with them like Bob. You guys are going to have so many little colloquialisms, idioms, and nomenclature plugins that I'll use them all sometimes, and I'll give you all credit in the credits of a book. There has to be more books that happen. I was walking yesterday and had 3 book ideas. And then I think, wait, I don't have any time to do these books. I get ready for the show. Well, I don't get ready for Saturday's show. You just get what you get on Saturday. But when I teach a class, I get ready for the class. And then Monday and Tuesday, I plan about what I'm going to paint and work through it a little bit, not a ton, because a lot of it is the spontaneity and the interruption and just what I think of in the moment, which is what I love about life. But at the same time, I don't want you to tune in and have your tea and coffee ready and you go, hey, the guy spent 45 minutes just talking about a white piece of paper. And yet, that paper means everything to you and your art, too. So, see there, I just segued right into that. I'll show you the desk here in a second, but I'm walking. I come with all those ideas, and I think, you know what I need? If I were independently wealthy, I would still paint. And I would probably take time off during the day to create all these other projects that I want to create. So, I don't know how that's going to be sometimes. I don't know what you do creative. It's either sponsors or who knows. I'm going to think about that. Lori Stanley Henderson Meyer Handelman, thank you. Happy Saturday to you. Miss Carla, glad you're on the show. Donna Barton, thank you. I hope your project's going well. I want to see finished part of it one of these days on your storybook and how you're helping folks. I know you're putting that together for a cause, and I love it very much. Elise McQuillan, I can't say McQuilliam without saying it with a Scottish accent, which I don't have a very good one either. My son, though, is The Rocks. June Jones, welcome. Julie Walden, Sunshiny J. Okay, all right. Now, why didn't I think of a name like that when I was doing my Facebook page? Sunshiny J. Come on, I love it. And I haven't seen you on the show before, so good morning from the Rockies. So welcome. My wife is actually in the Rockies right now. Sent me a picture last night of doing the splits somewhere in Winter Park in the courtyard. With this big old dog sitting there looking at her like, woman, you are crazy. And so, yes, she's social distancing from Colorado with a dear friend. When you have a free airfare and you have a free place to stay, you go, I think I need 4 days in the Rockies just to sit by the fireplace and knit. So that's where she is. Man, wish her well. Love you, babe. She's not up watching. Trust me. Lisa May, thank you for being on the show. Got to go back to work. Shucks, I'm sorry. But, I'll be right here. This is recorded. Terry Tardy, I'm here with the rest of the Roos from Coos Bay. Glad you're on the show. Terry Tardy has hung out with us. Terry, do you realize it's been right at a year since I actually met you in Orlando, Florida? You and your husband were there as a part of a conference. And you had lunch in this. There was just a few of us that had lunch together that day. Remember that? I think there were 5,261 of us who had lunch in that little room that day. And of all those 5,260 something people, we met at the same table and started talking about things and kids and life and art. And it went to pottery. And I think I may have painted you a little roux. I don't remember. Maybe I gave you a business card or something, but which I'm still trying to finish. I sent out 3 more 100-day cards. I'm close, even though this is 201 days. So, all right, I got to get busy here. Sue, Kim Sheets, Fern Skelly, Renee, Sherry. I just love to go through here. Timberly, Kay, golly, thank you people for being on the show this morning. I'm so grateful to you. Mickey, thank you. Diane Lynn, Great Wit, John Robert Small, morning to mates, roommates, two mates. I'll take it both. And John Robert Small, your coffee cup's going to put you on the map, brother. It is a great painting. And yes, I'm going to purchase one. I don't know how we're going to mail it. I know I'm not driving down to Veracruz to get it, but I want one. And I'd love for that baby to be about 8 by 10, even smaller if you want to get in there with a brush, but somewhere along that. I'm out of all wall space, but I need original art, and I've got a spot over there, but I think it needs to go downstairs in the main house. All right, so Dolores, Cheryl, Jessica Miller, thank you for being on the show. Sheila, thank you. All right, here we go. Here's what's on the desk this morning. Let me just show you what a mess it is, and let's get going here. I'm going to put on some music. A little bit of Mozart, I think, is what I'm playing today. Maybe. Doesn't sound like Mozart, does it? All right, I'm trying. Oh, there's the desk. Look, Kilimanjaro paper. And I don't know what happened to my music. I really wanted some nice music this morning, but it just quit. Oh, that's Mozart right there. All right, so here's the desk. Look, Kilimanjaro paper. It's always here. A Klein art bag. You're not going to believe this. I had to carry some paints out the other day. I was taking a walk. I walk 1.5 miles down to Cheap Joe's. There's a Starbucks there, so I can get I don't drink coffee there, but if I want to grab a bottle of water or something, of course, the Trader Joe's there too. But I sit outside at their table sometimes and paint if the weather's nice. And I went to put my stuff in a bug out bag and realized I don't even own one of my own bug out bags. I kept like 5 or 6 here in case some of them got lost in the mail because it was a limited printing that we did. And I lost one in the mail. One never showed up. And so the box never found tracking. It's lost somewhere out there. I hate that so much when it happens. But it was a product. Anyway, so I took the one I had and I mailed it to this lady. And then so I went to pick up one yesterday and I went, I don't even have one. So guess what? I am reprinting. Selfishly, I need one, but I'll have another few dozen. I might as well just buy them in bulk. So I'm going to get those printed, the bug out bags. You can see those at roodoodles.com. It has the rooster's head there and it says bugging out. And it's like this bag. It's just black with this. And I think I was looking for some white ones to put this big black roux on. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But I had that on there because I had to carry it in my old bag. But nothing wrong with my Klein tool. But it looks a little, it's just pretty manly looking when you go out and you go, oh, he must be an electrician. Some Kilimanjaro paper up here this morning, and then a bunch of artwork, crazy artwork on my desk. I'll show you some of that, and that's just been laying around. And then over the weekend, this is what I did, and we'll go from there, okay? So, all right, here we go. Let me show you what I do when my brain, hey, Jack Wolfenbarger, glad to have you on the show, buddy. Appreciated your note the other day and the joke. Loved it very much. Donna Hamilton, Judy Wyman, Liz Foley. Golly, so many of you guys pumped on. Jason Nicholas, thank you for being on the show, man. Blank paper, he says, endless possibilities. Yeah, man, you think like an artist, you are an artist. I love your stuff. All right. So here's what's on the desk this morning. Take a look. Let me get into PIP, see if I'm up in the window. There's an old pocket knife. And so I have a major task today. I've got to clean out the closet. Promised Carol I'd clean it out before she came home. I've got to bake cookies. Taking friend some cookies today. He and his kids need some cookies. And I got to find my pocket knife. I've lost my pocket knife, and it's driving me crazy. It's here in the house because I haven't whittled. When Ron was on the show last Monday, he asked me about whittling the little roosters. And I said, well, I got to get some river birch because, you just can't. I've kind of cut off all the lower limbs on mine. And I was walking 2 days ago, and I got a mile and a half to Trader Joe's and a mile and a half back. So I have a little backpack with me. Anyway, I got about a mile down before I got to my turnaround spot. And I heard chainsaws running and a chipper, and these guys were cutting down this river birch. And so I called the guy over, and he comes over. He goes, yes, sir. And I said, no, it's sir to you. Not me, sir, you, sir. Could I get some of the little limbs off that? I'm a whittler. And he goes, yeah. So I took my clippers and clipped a bunch. I think I got about 25 or 30 little branches to whittle with. So then I was going to whittle yesterday as I walked. These are people. Chip brought me some coffee yesterday. Brought Carol coffee. Actually brought me a steak, and I ate at the best restaurant in town last night at my house. I painted these little people, and it made me think I want to do a couple for you on the show today because I haven't done them for some of you. Some of the folks way back in 50 days, 60 days in, we started talking about Bob Burridge and his carrot people. I was painting vegetables at the time. I was painting radishes or something, but he paints these people like this, and I wanted to show you how to do these real quickly, just for when you're doing a landscape and you want some people in there. They're Bob's ideas, but what's new in art? It's pastiche. You do steal from people, but you try not to copy people exactly, but you use the tips and ideas that they give you. There's a bug. I'll show you. I did a bug this week. There's my fish from last week, and I found these two inside the book. Remember last week I started. I was going to do a wiry roux. There he is right there. And then I painted this hen with the rolling pin. She says, I'm about to make biscuits, but if I need to come out there and smooth things out, I will. All right, so these were in my art book this morning. And so let's paint something. Here we go. I'm going to paint it on a big piece of paper. I don't need this much space, but I want to give myself a little bit of room. So this is Kilimanjaro 9 by 12. It's 100% rag cotton, pure cotton rag or pure rag cotton, whichever way you want to say it. Is it Earth Youthlings or Youth Earthlings? So here it is right here. I'm going to paint a little thing because Chip brought Carol some espresso, Colombian espresso coffee. I thought I needed a coffee, and in the afternoon sometimes I'll grind some of that up and put it in a little like Turkish coffee pot we have, and sometimes before my walk and go. So I'm back on the walking routine. Just needed to get out a little bit. So I've done 14 miles this week, not at one time, just scattered out. So I'm kind of proud of myself, dadgummit. All right, so here we go. Linda, I have my grandfather's pocket knife. She said he always carried one, but we call it a jackknife. Of course you do. You call it a jackknife because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It was called a jackknife. And so that means if you don't play the blades on the whetstone, Jack becomes dull. So you thought that was something else. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. You thought it was about a little boy going out and playing, didn't you? Well, there you go. Learn something new every day on this show. All right, so here we go. Let me get a pencil, and I'm just going to rough this painting out. And speaking of jackknives, I need one to sharpen my pencil. It's Saturday morning, so I hope you're having tea. I hope you're coffee. I hope you're not going anywhere right away because I'm just moving slow today. It's 30 degrees. Cookies, closet, find my pocket knife. That's a busy day right there. I don't care who you are. All right, here we go. So I was thinking about Chip bringing me this coffee over, and so what I thought I wanted to do is paint some roos. And I haven't done a stack of roos in a while. It's been a while since I've stacked some up. I did one at Christmas and one with the light bulb. So here we go, just a stack of roos. So I'm just going to pencil this lightly. Skate like an ice skater is skating on thin ice. Okay? It's okay if the pencil line stays. If it's big old bold and I make a mistake, then I have to erase it. And then I've got a dent in my paper. And this is pristine paper. It's beautiful. Remember, this is a block, not a pad, so it's glued down all the way around. I'm going to leave it there. All right, so here's my big roo. He's going to come in about right here, okay? This is great music to paint to, huh? Listen. I'll turn this up a little bit. This will be fun. I want this roo's hand to have a coffee cup in it. There you go, like that. All right, you think you can see that? All right, so now I'm just going to throw away the pencil. No, wait, I'll better keep one more part of it. Let's see. Let's see if I put this right here. I might wind up putting that handle on the other side. See there? That's why you sketch lightly right there. Watch this. Zip. Just change midstream right there. Come in with this line a little more. Come out with this line. So I'll come in here and do the handle on this bodum. Yeah, this is a French bodum, which was invented by the Italians. I don't know. You figure it out. All right, so now I'm going to just get rid of that and go with the pen. If I can find a pen over here. All right, here we go. Ready? Should get my roux cup today. Barbara Meyer, you should get your roux cup today. It's on its way, trust me. And it's wrapped really well, so I hope it shows up. But 2-day mail sometimes says 5 days. I don't know. All right, here we go. You know, that's really weird, but that music I find my hands sort of sketching to that music. That may really work, huh? That's kind of crazy. I wasn't even planning it. It just sort of happened there. There's a roux. He's got his cup ready. Now all he needs is the coffee. So let's go in here with the hen. We're going to put her right here. She's balanced pretty well. Aren't most all hens balanced pretty well? Yes. Yes. There she is right there. She's coming down. She's got a foot right here on the back, and maybe she's got this other foot pressed up against the side of his neck right there like that. There's the hen. I like her demeanor. I like her face already, okay? That's pretty fun. Now I think I need a small roux here, kind of like a little banty. You know, little banties are kind of rough and ready. They're like all talk. What is that old line you say? He's all hat and no cattle. Is that what it is when you get a cowboy that's really wants to wear the spurs but's never straddled the saddle? Yeah, that's I think that's what you say when that's like that. I like this. I like where this is going. Okay. Chancy thing I'm doing here, sketching with just a pen, no pencil, and changing the ink as I go down. What's wrong with the guys? He lost his cotton picking. Mine, yes. Hey, it's just a fun sketch. I'm just playing here this morning. This is how you do it. Sometimes you just go. Chip and I were talking this week. Paper is still kind of cheap, you know? Just enjoy it. Just do it. All right, so now I'm going to get rid of some of this back here in the background. It looks kind of messy. Just get rid of some of that right there. That's why you sketch lightly, people. If you use a pencil, which you don't see me use a pencil a lot, but if you use one, it's easy to get it out of there if I just do a light sketch. All right, so you see what's happening here. I got this stack of Roodoodles, and they figured out how to make a European press work. So this is kind of paintings that I do sometimes around people's coffee stations and things like that, where they want something. They're all, people who paint coffee. If you haven't used a French press, you need to know how they work. They're pretty remarkable, actually. You put the grounds in there, fresh as you can get them. This Climb's Roast, Chip brought me, the Chip and Cheery brought me coffee yesterday. And that's not all they brought me either, man. He said, here, this is for Carol, because we know she loves this Colombian espresso bean, but this is for you. And he had behind his back couple of little ribeyes. And so last night, Chip, I tossed those things into to one of them and I've got more I'm fixing myself breakfast after the show. I'm having steak and eggs. I had plenty of it left over. One little cut about yay big. I put it in my new skillet and just on the range, just seared it with salt and pepper. Let it sit out for about an hour with salt on it and just break it all down. Man, make a train take a dirt road. It was so good. Okay, so there you go. So there's my little painting this morning. So I'm going to have fun painting this. So this is from tip to tail, how I start and do a sketch and how my brain works. I just thought it'd be fun to do a little painting sketch this morning about coffee. Haven't done one in a while. And that's plenty enough sketching there with pen. Just use my Pentel 05. There it is right there. Yeah, man, that is a crazy skillet I used. I used I'm highly favored. Several years ago, we were at the beach, staying at a friend's house, and Ann is a chef, and my wife is in that category, but we were cooking, and so one day she came over, and I had brought one of my skillets down from North Carolina and one of my outside hot plate cookers, gas, and I was out in the courtyard doing pancakes. I was going to do them at the beach, and it got too windy, and I said, nobody wants sand in their pancakes. So I was doing these delicious pancakes out at the beach with my grandkids, and she goes, oh my gosh, I need a skillet like that. Well, I marked that. So I came home, and just after a great stay in her house, I found this old Griswold, and I threw it in my mixture, and I re-seasoned it, cleaned it all up, got it down to bare metal, re-seasoned it, and put it in a box and shipped it down. And that was probably 4 years ago, and she's still cooking with it today. But a few weeks ago, Carol and I came in. We'd just been out to the grocery, and we pulled in, and Amazon had dropped, or not Amazon, but UPS had dropped off a package, and there was this box, and I opened it up, and it's a skillet, an iron hammered, not cast iron, a carbon steel skillet. Oh my gosh, from a company in Charleston that makes these things by hand. And I'd fried an egg in it once, so last night I christened it with a steak. And I'm still getting used to it, but man, is it brilliant. Love it. It's got this hammered handle. And I had seen it because we were walking by the thing back at an art crawl last year sometime. And I actually took a picture of it in the window and thought, one of these days I'm going to make a skillet like that. That's what artists do, right? You go, hey, look at that. There's one of those new little cars. I'll make one of those. What are we thinking? But Actually, sometimes I've done silly things like that. So you see what I'm doing here? I just sort of started at the top. Why did I start at the top? Because if I started at the bottom, then I had to reach over all my paint to get there. And my sweater would have been not so nice. And this is a new one that Carol gave me for Christmas. So I'm being a little bit careful this morning. I like to put opposing colors in the beaks sometimes just to give that little difference there. I think you see where this is going. That's all I cook with too is cast iron. You betcha. Think about, and I see some posts there about. Think about French press is when you put the ground beans in here and you pour in the water at about 202, 199 to 202. Everybody has a different concept of how hot they think the water needs to be. Some say, oh, it scalds the beans. Some say this. Some say everybody has their own thing. I used to do radio commercials for a company in Asheville, North Carolina, on my radio show many, many, many years ago, big band swing show. And so she said 197.8. I'm going like, really? I'm not going to say that. So can I just find a range? But she was pretty serious about her temperature of water that you pour in on top of the beans, and then you let it steep for 4 minutes. And then you push the plunger down and it pushes all the grounds to the bottom. Here's the reason. You go, well, you have to do that again if you run out. You go, well, yeah. But some people make coffee and they leave it in a pot, and then they leave that pot sitting on the burner, and then it scorches and singes the bottom of the grounds, and the coffee starts to taste like burned horseshoes. And it makes me think like the farrier has come over to shoe our horses. And so that's not my horses anymore. I don't have horses. All right. This is the French blue that I love using. It's really ultramarine blue, but we call it French blue because every door, every window seal in little towns in southern France, about 3 out of the 5 are painted with French blue. I do like that though, huh? That's kind of cool. I'll drop a little bit of gray in there just to let it. This gray, by the way, that I'm using, I think you can see my palette. Yeah, I'm painting out of this. Right there it is. These are American Journey paints from Cheap Joe's. They're good folks, friendly folks. Man, we're fortunate because we have one here in town. But I order still mostly right now online, but every now and then I'll run by and see the shop. Boone is where I really like to hang out when I go in to see the folks at Cheap Joe's. But right now they're working from home too. They just have people back in their department, and their mail has been slow. And the people in California who make their paper, some of this paper comes from England. It's backed up. It's just been a slow process, folks. Hey, look at this. I love where this is going. You see that? That's kind of fun, huh? All right. 199 to 202. Wind's almost boiling, but I've never tested my temp. Yeah, almost boiling. Here's what I do. I let mine boil, and then I just let it sit for a couple minutes and back down, and then pour it in. And I like my tea, as soon as it boils, I pour it in, because I keep the bag in here. This is Builder's Tea. Make Mine of Builders is a company. They're not a sponsor of the show yet. However, they have sent me some fun stuff. So why would I even look for a sponsor or people to help sponsor the show? Because it gives me more white space. You know what white space is? It's different than holidays. When I talk about holidays, this is a holiday right here. Let me get a fine brush point here. This right here, right there. See where I'm pointing? That little white space of paper and there and there and there and there. Those are holidays, right? Holidays are not just for people, holidays for art, and they give art life and space. But what is white space? You think, well, he is a nutcase. No, white space is for you. White space is when you have the ability to do what I did yesterday. I had the time yesterday. No, I took the time yesterday to sit down, not get up I took my computer, I took my art supplies, I went down to the parquet French table in the kitchen, and I sat down at the table, I journaled a little bit, and then I just started painting and doodling, and then I have a notebook there and a journal that I just write down ideas. And then when I started walking yesterday, all those ideas started formulating. And I thought, oh my gosh, here's a book that I should finish. Here's a book that I need to write. Here's a song I'd like to finish up on sometimes. Here's a painting that I'd like to do. And so that's the white space that you just let your mind kind of wander and play a little bit. And it's absolutely amazing what happens. We don't give ourselves enough white space. And some of you are saying, no, I have so much now that's driving me crazy. Well, then figure out how to use it creatively. That's why pens and paper are so important. Now, I want to show you what I just did there, and I did it on purpose. Some of you think, well, that was crazy. I painted this in red, and I sort of stayed in the lines, and then I just took my wet brush with the gamboge in it, and I just touched it into the red. And when I do, the red is overpowering. It's a bold. It's not as a warm color as not as warm as the yellow color, and it just sweeps in over it. It's just darker tone, and so it takes over a little bit. Well, if I want to get rid of some of that, I can take a little cloth and I can just go in there, not a cloth, but a paper towel, and just go in there and pick up a little bit like this, but I don't want to pick up too much. I like that orange that comes down on the neck, so that's what I was pulling for. I'm pushing it for that direction, okay? So here's where I like those little pieces to run in. Now I'm going to do something that I do from time to time. I'm going to grab a fountain pen, okay? I think the whole painting's actually in the painting. You can see where I'm headed here. So I'm going to grab a fountain pen, and I'm just going to go in here on this paper. And sometimes you'll go, well, my fountain pen skips on some paper. Yes, it does. Sometimes on 140-pound cotton paper, the fountain pen will skip a little bit. It writes differently. Just go with it anyway. Just push some of the lines in there, even if you have to repeat some of the lines. Look at this. Come in here, scratch some of this. I'm going to tie these together. It skipped right there. Did you see that? It just left it over. It's okay. Didn't bother me. It even helps make me kind of loose when it doesn't skip, or when it does skip. See there, it's skipping again. But if I slow down a little bit, it'll connect. So I'm picking up some dark in here, and I want some here. Here's why. Watch now. This is just Lamy. This is a Lamy Fountain Pen, Lamy. I love to stop. Some of you know all this. See if you can read it. There it is. It's coming into view. Lamy, Lamy. It's a plastic body pen. It's low maintenance. I get 2 or 3 emails. Just answered one yesterday or day before, I think. 2 or 3 emails a week about fountain pens. Why do you use fountain pens? One, they're liquid ink. They're usually black ink, and they bleed and run well into watercolors. 2, I love the feel of a good fountain pen, and I love how it attacks the paper, and I just like them. There's something about them that's just really fun to me. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up a little bit bigger brush. Here's one right here. Here's just a big old bamboo brush right here. Look, about a number 5 or 6. See it right there? And I just dipped it in the water, cleaned it out, straightened it out a little bit. And I'm just going to go in here and sweep some water, quite a bit of water, into that fountain pen and let it bleed. You've seen me do this at least 201 times. But for those of you who are jumping on the show, this is just how you stay loose. And look, I'm don't even have my hand anchored here. I'm just up here with my hand back on. See the picture in picture? I'm holding it out, but there it is right there. I'm way up on the brush, and I'm just letting this sprinkle in here. Now, there's a hair that took off on its own. Just leave it in there. It's a brush hair that ran away. And these are goat hair. They don't last forever, but they're pretty good brushes, okay, if you treat them right. So I want to come in here with a little bit of red, just a touch of red right here. And then I'm going to get a touch, wash my brush out, get a touch of blue. There's a little bit of blue. Right there. Holy smokes, the time flies when you're doing this, doesn't it? I don't know if I'll get to everything I was going to do today on this unplanned Saturday morning, but I had it. And obviously the music stopped before my painting was done, but it is what it is. All right, that's a little muddy color right there, so I didn't mean to put that in there, but I did. I reached in the wrong pan over here. Why didn't somebody tell me? Somebody wasn't watching out for me. All right, here's what happened. Got a little black dripped into my pan over here, so I'm going to clean this pan out just a little bit right here. Every now and then you just have to go in and do a little maintenance in the mixing department. I want to go in, I want to get some gamboge. Here it is. Drop a little bit over here like this. This is about one of the 2 or 3 times I'll pre-mix before I put it on the paper. There's a little bit of orange in there. That's really just, red. That's Joe's red. And here's a little bit of, now it's called French gray. It was called Sag Harbor gray, which I really loved. but it's not my paint company. And there's a little more. There's a little of that. Maybe a Quincidone Gold, or it could be Copper Kettle or Copper Penny, one of those. All right, so I've got the color that I want for the legs, and so I'm just going to come in here now and put this in the legs here like so. Same on this underneath leg here. Come around. This foot's going up there. There's the little piece coming down. Okay, so there we go. That's about all I'm going to do. I might come with a little more of this color right here and just get a little bit of shadow coming back on the root right there. That looks pretty good. And give this foot a little shadow. I can do that. All right. Okay. I live in a little white house. Should I paint the front door French blue? Audrey, go buy the paint today. Ultramarine blue. Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Let me show you why right here. Let's see if this is my journal from France. No. Where is it when you need it? Come on, don't you have it up here? That's really sad if I took it away somewhere. This may be it right here. No, here we go. All right, look at this. Look at this. Here's my journal from France. This is all, some of you have seen this. It's all one page, right? It's just one big old long page. It's a Japanese journal, but I'm coming into the little town. Look at this door right here. Oh my gosh, there it is. Blue doors, second floor, sycamores in the park, Moulin Rouge. Those that lose. Those are loose, and Eiffel Tower in the dark. That was a little thing in my journal, but look at this little town in Vons. Here it is, look. The car, the sign, the windowsill, the boat, the jacket on Yves Nicolas, who is a church in Ardon. You have to say Ardon like you're mad at France. Ardon. This snail wasn't really blue, but it seemed to admit. And in Paris from the food tour, there was a blue macaron. Not a macaroon, a macaron. Okay, so macaron was there. So, yes, you should paint your door blue. Ultramarine or a nice blue that you like. Not a cobalt, not a sky blue. No, you want a blue that says, by gosh, I live here, bring me something, okay? Or come on in and I got cookies, all right? You want one like that. So there, you asked my opinion, I just told you. Builder's tea is a great tea. Builder's tea is a bold tea. It's a tea that I think you'll appreciate and love. It's a tea that is mild even if you leave the bag in the cup. And there's one floating around in there. If you can see, it's just a round bag. Doesn't have a string on it. You just drop it in there. I bought them. I tried 50 teas originally, and I drew Typhoo, Typhoo. Typhoo and Builders are very, very similar. It's hard to tell them apart. It's hard to get Builders where I live because they don't sell it locally. I have to order it in from a company that's importing it. It comes from Britain. Typhoo you can get from World Market sometimes, and it's a great tea too. However, the reason that I really bought Builders is because it's a black box with a yellow caution ribbon, and it says Britain wasn't built on chamomile. And I don't know who came up with that, but by gosh, I love it. It's just fabulous. Okay, now I'm being careful, and I'm trying not to get my hand in this roux down here, but I got a little Tardy Turquoise right here, and I'm putting it in right there. And I had a fun thing that's happened that's never happened to me before. This is fun, and I still haven't seen it, but I'm gonna. It should be in the mail here any day. But Roodoodles now has a page in Cheap Joe's catalog. They've put me on page 52. Chip tells me I still haven't seen it, but I'm on page 52. So I called to make a little order at Cheap Joe's, and I called it, and I talked to a nice young lady named Eva, who works at our Charlotte store. And I said, Eva, this is Michael, and I said, I need to place an order for a friend of mine to pick up. He's coming by, and could you do that for me? She said, oh, yes, sir, very much. I said, she said, Michael. I said, Michael Hahn, but here's the thing, Roodoodles. She goes, oh my gosh, Roodoodles, our catalogs came in last night. We saw you. And so I went, so as the first time that's ever happened to me, that we connected like that. So that was kind of a fun. It wasn't prideful, but it was a kind of I felt humble, but I felt good in a way too. Kind of went, yes, thank you. She said, no, we love your page. We like your rooster. I don't know why you wear a hard hat painting, But I said, well, I thought stuff. That's the reason. All right. All right, so how fun was that Tardy Turquoise came in there? And you see those lines that I scribbled on with the pen? Okay? Remember in the beginning when I said, hey, I'm not doing this? What brand is the French press? Brad, thank you for asking. We have 4 Bodums, B-O-D-U, I think it's B-O-E-D-U-M or B-O, yeah, I believe it's B-O-U-D-E-M. Bodum is one of the greatest pieces of glass. It's just a glass science beaker. But we also have a couple more. Carol has a stainless steel Bodum that she travels with. So when she gets ready to go somewhere, she puts a stainless steel one in her suitcase. It won't break. And then she's off and running. People go, oh, if we only had good coffee. And she goes, you mean like this? So she opens up the beans. She's pre-ground, puts them in, drops in 3 heaping big coffee spoons full in there, fills up the Bodum, lets it steep for 4 minutes. So, Brad, what a great question. Bodum is the one we've used, and this is the first one I ever saw. Back in my radio days, I'd found one in Louisiana one night. I was speaking down there at a banquet, and this lady said, would you like some afternoon coffee before you go speak? And I said, oh my gosh, thank you. And so she brings in this thing, and I said, hold it, what is that? So they took me to this little shop down in Baton Rouge, and I found it in this little coffee shop and brought that thing home. Carried it on the plane because I wasn't about to put it in my checked luggage. My guitar is tough enough to get on airplanes, but I don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. It's kind of fun. All right, this take me a long time to paint this because I've been jabbering, but I'm going to go in here with a little bit. Now I got to make some coffee. And here's what I mean by that. I just got to go in here, and I think I got to make some. Ooh, look at there's a little bit of just brown already in my brush, but I'm just putting some water in here. I'm glad that's kind of brown. You can see it. It's okay that I picked up on the bottom there. I'm going to come in and get a little bit of this brown. I'm going to get a little bit of Payne's gray. I'm going to get a little bit of just some ugly brown. That's too much green in it. I don't know where that came from. I must have spilled that somewhere. All right. So now I'm just putting several colors in here, really wet, and just letting it run in and mix, okay? Just making coffee. Why is this so green? I have no idea why that paint is so... There we go, that's better. And there's a little more of this in here. So sometimes this is going to be really a wet spot, but I think you'll get an idea of just how coffee's mixing. I can come in and put some more dark in there. All coffee's not black. It really is this luscious brown, beautiful color. And look what's happening here with all these colors mixing. I'm just making a mud soup. And that's kind of how I wanted it to be. Just for now. Okay, that's pretty cool. See how it's just sort of starting to mix up? And then I'm going to come in here, and this piece in the Bodum, and I'm not being too detailed. Y'all know me better than that, right? This piece in the Bodum is sort of a gray or silver gray. So I'm just going to grab a little bit and just fill in that right there. And of course, this is the beaker itself just has a little bit of blue glass on it. So I'm just going to touch that with blue just so it looks like there's a little shimmer in the glass. There we go. But what I was talking about is I use my pen when I sketch this. Yikes. When I sketched this, I just made some extra marks in here. And now you can see where those marks have bled in with my paint and the water, and they've caused a little bit of a shadow on the back of that. It's perfect. That's how it works. Okay? Excuse me. This is just a ultra fine flare pen. They don't make this pen anymore, unfortunately. I'm so sorry that I use it and they don't, but I still have about 10 of them, and I'm going to use them until Jesus takes me home or I run out completely. So there it is. That's the name of that game. So just grab a little bit of green here, touch it right here. Just need some earth. I'm going to grab a little bit of that yellow I mixed up for the legs and put it in here, and some of that coffee brown from right there. Look, just go right in there. Got plenty of paint right there. That looks like the earth. So I'm just going to grab some of that and put the earth in there. In fact, I might grab some more of that, just make a shadow out of it. There we go. Look at that. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. But if I didn't cough, I'd blow up. So there we go. You know what? There's something great about being my age and just being silly as a 12-year-old sometimes. I like to think my humor is a little higher level, but maybe not. Maybe not. All right. This piece of music always reminds me of a fox hunt. Maybe it's because of cartoons, huh? Think so? All right, so there we go. So all this needs is a caption. So what's the whole plan here? The whole plan is this. Who's waiting? This guy right here. He's the one that's holding up the whole thing. He's not holding it up, but he is holding it up. You see the pun there? See, he's holding everybody up, but he's not holding it up. Here's who's holding it up. The timer is holding it up. The French are holding it up. The Italians. All right, it says almost nothing. Push it down. So there we go. Now I need a little splatter in here, just a little bit. I'm going to take a small brush, about a number 4, number 6. Number 6 brush, get a little bit of sky here in it, just a little bit more water, and I'm just going to see how it splashes right here. I think that'll do well right here, just a little bit of sky splash around here. Maybe just throw some paint out of that brush a little bit. Just throwing it down like that, let it splatter. And then I want to just dirty up the ground a little bit. I'm just going to get a little bit of this and just splat it in. Maybe a little bit of Payne's Gray down here like this. And then come in, maybe with this pen, I got to create some veining in the feet, like so. And then just some grass sprouts coming up out like this. Don't have to paint all the grass. There's a cool way to do grass sometimes. If I've shown some of you, look at this. This is a bamboo brush, right? Here's a clean one. Just take the brush. See this? I'm going to hold it right here over this clean paper. Hold it right here. And just spread it out a little bit with your fingers, like this. This one's so wet. It's not want to spread out too much. There it is right there. See that? Just spread it out, flatten it out a little bit. See it? It looks a little more like a screwdriver. And then just go in here. If I go in here and just get a little bit of this green paint and just slide it along the edge like this right here and here, then I can go in with this brush that I just kind of go like this, and it gives me a little bit of a grass. Look at that right there. Can you see? You see what happened right here? These little sprigs just shot up right there. See that? That's just because this brush is just fanned out a little bit. Cheat. That's what you do. Everything's about an idea and a concept, and it's not that complicated. Do not be afraid of watercolor. Do not be afraid to make mistakes. Paint your way out of them, for heaven's sakes. This is a good painting. This is 9 by 12, big old painting, almost nothing, okay, which needs an exclamation point. Push it down, okay? So I love the way this guy right here, this is my favorite Roo in the whole piece. Right here he is. Look, his neck is straight. He's making a lift. He's got his foot up on her head, and he's reaching over, and then all these guys are like balanced out like this. This guy right here, maybe he has a leg back here for a little bit of a counterbalance. See there? See, I just changed that just right then, okay? So, all right, let's see what time I got. 10 till, oh my gosh, that's good. All right, you still got to think about what just happened. I was able to do a big work, a 9 by 12 piece, just in, by the time I started painting. That is bothering me right there. Thank you for getting out of there. All right, I'm dropping a little more, just some random little pieces in this coffee that I want it to dry with a little darkness in there. It's all just mixing. It's coagulating. It's marinating with the beans. And that's what happens in a Bodum, okay? I should do a French press commercial. Wait, I already have. It's on YouTube, I think. Stuff you ought to know. I want a little blue here. Just those feathers, a little more. So here's where I can come back and just do some touch-ups. And I'll probably do some touch-ups once this dries a little bit more. I might come in once it's dry and I'll do some more details. Like I want some little veining in this hen's feet. They're dry enough right now to work with. All right. And I think I want a little bit of just a shadow right here. Just a little bit of darkness underneath his wattle. I'm just going to get a little Payne's Gray and just drop a little bit in right there. Clean brush and just pull that down just a little bit right there. Maybe a little bit of orange. This thing just needed a spot of orange right there. Okay? All right. and maybe a little bit of a love spot on the hen, just a little red spot or two right in there. And then also some of that Sag Harbor gray. Let me just splatter some of that in there like that. Okay, I'm done. That's good painting, even if I did do it myself. All right. Hey, I know I'm a crazy person, all right? Well, I haven't been admitted, but I think I am certifiable. Okay. Hey, I brought a little tea up in my thermos this morning because it's a cool morning outside. It's about 30 degrees. And so when it's 30 degrees, I need a couple of cups here to get me going. So I made another cup of Builders in my thermos. Confession, I never thought I'd be sketching watercolor a rooster, but dang, today I'm going for it. Jason Nichols, yes. Here's why you need a rooster, man. Everybody needs a rooster in their kitchen. Now, here's the thing. Can you buy one of mine? Most certainly, and many of you have. But man, here's the people that are part of this community. Paint one, okay? Paint your own, and then go back to what you really love to paint. But every now and then, just do yourself a little whimsical rooster. All right? Okay. Whoa! How did the thermos keep it hot? Who knows? All right. All right, I'm going to put these journals back up over here. Let me get them out of the way. And I've got 10 minutes to go. I signed this painting. I'm going to probably auction this painting off. It's 9 by 12. It's a big painting. There you go. There's my hand. That's how big it is. I like it. I think what it needs a couple little things that I'll touch up. It needs a little bit of shadow under the bottom right there. Just take a little bit of gray. Oh, that's perfect right there. And a little bit more shadow right here. It needed a little more shadow under here. Just a tad. And then under the cup. And then that cup needs a little bit of dirtying up too. I'm just going to try and take my pen here and just put a couple emphasis marks on it. And this bottom needs a screw in the handle right there. See, this is the stuff that I love. And here's why I love it. I love the fact that I'm not a real detail painter in my looseness of this, but every now and then when I'm working on something like this, I like to go in and just put a screw there. Or I like this little knob to have a little bit of a dirt twist on it. Okay. All right. So there, I'm going to stop for now on this painting. I need a holiday for me. Yes, Zoe, that does work. That's white space. You do need that. Hey, by the way, Brenda, that's a great idea. Put a notebook beside your bedside table. And when you wake up, here, everybody do this in the next month. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you go, oh my gosh, what the heck is wrong with me? And your mind is rattling around and you've got a few ideas on your mind, get up right then or grab that notebook and just flip on the light and write down the idea. Just write it down right then. I've been listening to this amazing podcast about songs and how people put songs together. And I'm convinced that this one guy put a song together 16 years after the original idea. And he had, so this happened in 2011. So he already had an iPhone then, a cell phone. And so he was walking down the street one day and and this happens to me all the time. So I'll stop. And yesterday I stopped and a lady was walking a dog behind me and my community, there's no cars really. And I thought, oh ma'am, I'm sorry. I said, I just stopped there, I had an idea. And she said, oh, it's okay. You know, I'm thinking she almost hit me. I didn't have my brake lights on. I was walking. And so my point was I stopped to write something down. And so I just grabbed a little notebook in my pocket like this. There it is right there. And I just write down a little idea. And I go, oh my goodness, here's an idea. Here's a little something that I want to do. I said, Carol, you love hanging out with people, don't you? I mean, you are a 7 on the Enneagram. You want to be where the action is. You must do hospitality. You must have people that you cook for and deliver to. She says, yeah, I don't like to be by myself necessarily. Well, then she rephrased it and I wrote it down. She said, I don't want to be anywhere alone unless it's in a tub surrounded by bubbles with a glass of wine. And I'm thinking, dang, that's a good comment. That's a country song. So I write stuff like that down. So I encourage you to keep a notebook nearby in your pocket. Keep a pen. If you're an artist right now and you're thinking like an artist, especially what we talk about on the class, and you don't carry a pen with you or a little pad of paper or something to write on, well, why not? I'm not going to make a social judgment about you, but why not? The people who create field note books say this: we're not writing it down to remember it later. I'm writing this down to remember it now because I have all these through there. So white space does that when we just pull back, when you're walking, when you're working on something, when you wake up in the middle of the night. Tuesday morning, I got up at 3:30. Did I want to? No. But my brain started firing, and I was writing on the book, and I saw some changes I wanted to make on Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, the book that Pat and I are working on. And I thought, okay, I'll remember that. And I thought, I won't remember that. Next thing I know, I'm up, I'm dressed, I'm in here, I'm pulling my computer apart, and I'm doing it. Okay? Lamy Fountain Pens are good. I'm going to do 2 minutes on fountain pens, and I'm going to show you one more quick thing this morning before I go. There's the painting. I'm going to auction it off today. Why do I need to auction it off? Because if I sell it, I just take that money into my life, and I find white space to create more fun stuff. I've got more books that I want to do. So anyway, so here's a couple things on fountain pens that I want you to see. I get asked a lot. I go over this normally, but Saturday's a good day to do reviews. I use fountain pens in art. This is a Lamy, Lamy. It's not outrageously expensive, probably somewhere from $16 to $25 on Amazon. You think, gosh, that's a lot for a pen. Not if you're going to use it. This pen is 4 years old, okay? Or 5 years old. These pens are new. I purchased them in April, I think. They are Pilot fountain pens, Pilot, and they're called, I don't know if you can read the name. I'm coming in for a focus, and it may not focus, so forget it. It's KAKU. See, here's where you need that notebook. Look, KAKU with 2 dots over it. NO, I think is right. Kakuno. Okay, it's made by Pilot. And this is a fine nib. And you know what the nib is, right? That's the nib right there. That's it. That's the nib. Okay, so here's how this pen works. It unscrews, and you stick a cartridge in it. And one of these needs a cartridge, so I'll just change it and show you what it's like. Why do I keep 2? Because I keep one in my travel bag, or I keep one in my briefcase because I love this pen, and I keep one on the art desk. And so I've dumped everything out this morning, which I do on the weekends. Oh, look at this one. This one's almost completely empty. So there's the cartridge. I buy Pilot cartridges. I pull it out. Bingo. I grab another one. I keep them in these little boxes like this. There's one right there. Okay. See, look, there's one. That's a match right there. I load it in, push it till it clicks, screw this back on. No maintenance, maybe just a wipe clean here, and then I am ready to sketch. This is fine nib. This is the Pilot, just like this pen, but it's extra fine, okay, or ultra. They may call it extra fine. Ultra fine, I think is what they call it. Same ink work, cartridge works in this one. It's just finer pen. They both bleed really well. I love this pen. I love this pen. I love this pen. And I, of course, have one more that I love, but I don't take it outside this office. And it's about 30 years old. And it's an old pen that I use small cartridges in like these. And they're made by the Speedball company, Speedball ink. It's a black ink, like a Chinese ink, like an Indian ink, like a Higgins black ink. And it's really bold, okay? All right, so there you go. That's my story on fountain pens, and I'm sticking to it. This goes into trash in a minute over there, and this gets closed back up. I buy those on Amazon because I get them cheaper there. Anywhere else. The turquoise is Andrews Turquoise, Andrews. Andrews Turquoise from American Journey, from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. It's called American Journey Paints. I call it Tardy Turquoise because Terry Tardy loves turquoise, and she's on this show. And she's a friend of mine in life and in ministry. And she's a potter whose pottery has shut down because of COVID. I mean, you can't ship the stuff without breaking it. I have to wrap these cups. It costs a fortune to wrap these cups because they weigh 1.5 pounds, but I box them up and they go. And I've had a couple broken. I've received a couple of sad pictures. Okay. Here we go. Let me finish up with one little painting I told you I was going to do. I was actually going to do another painting this morning, but I want to show you something I hadn't done in a while. And here it is. Last night, some of you commented on this little painting I did here. It's me standing at an easel, And I just photographed, said, hey, I'll see you in the morning. And so this is really a takeoff on Bob Burridge's, or Bob Burr's, Bob's Blast, he calls it. And this guy's a California painter. He's been at it for many, many years. He's really good at it. But this is what you do. You borrow techniques and ideas from people, and you learn to paint. And I did these small people just with a brush. And I love this one. I just did it, and then I thought, oh, I didn't know what it was going to be. I just did the people. And then I thought, she looks like she's holding a flower pot, so I put some greenery there, and I'll just put a shovel in his hand. Oh, so there they are. So he's digging a hole. Looks like he's in his Sunday suit. That's what happens to me. Carol goes, hey, before we go in the house, why don't you plant these 2 flowers? I go, I just came in. I still got on my nice clothes. And she goes, so? All right, let me find a piece of Kilimanjaro here. Here's a nice piece right there. Wait, I think that's 300 pound. I don't want to paint on that. I want to paint on this 140 piece right here. Let me just rip this piece out. And what time is it? 9:59. Okay. I did these people about, oh my gosh, before I'd done 100 days. Today's 201. And Pat Brooks sent me a note and said, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with these people. I've got to learn how to do them. And so, and then Chip and I were talking yesterday, and he says, I have to get better at just doing people loose. And I go, you got to know about Bob. And he did not. So I set out to show him how to do it. And then I also said, let me just show you how Bob does it. And Bob does it with a big old brush. Look at the size of this brush. Okay. This is a number 28 brush. Okay. And just in comparison, this is a number 6, which I normally paint with. And there's a 28. Okay. That's it. Okay. If you don't have a big brush, this is an American Journey brush. It's a pretty expensive brush, but when I work on big stuff, which is kind of how I thought I was going to get into before I realized I love doing small, quick, loose pieces of art. So here we go. Got just a minute or 2 left. I'll just run over a few minutes, but here we go. I want to do a couple of these people for you. Okay, so here we go. Watch. Just wet my brush, go in and get some, I think I'm going to start just with some Payne's Gray. So I'm just going to load up my brush over here with some Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is it's not as dark as lamp black. It's just Payne's Gray. So here we go. I'm just going to do a spot. Boop. And then I'm going to push my brush down and drag it down like this. And I just painted a person. Ha! You went, he did not. Yes, he did. What if I wanted to put an arm on this person? Well, I could come down like this. I could put more here, an elbow behind him. What if I wanted to put this person talking to someone else? I could come in here and put another dot. And then I could come here and press it down and maybe just let this person kind of bend over a little bit here and come in. So this person's standing this way. So these 2 people are talking. Bingo. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Okay, so you're going like, I wish I could draw people. I can't draw stick people. Good. Somebody said, hey, I've been putting carrot people in my drawings. I don't know who said that. It popped over here. So, sorry. I love my Lamy. Perfect. Yeah, you have the adapter. It allows you to fill it with your own ink. Beautiful. Pilot pens with fine nibs are great. Love the figures. There you go, Jason. There you go, man. Yikes, that is a brush, man. All right. Here we go. Kathy says, been putting carrot people in my paintings for a while. Love it. Yeah, you do that. Carrot people are great. All right. So now I'm going to take off, but let me show you something before I leave. Here we go. I want this person to be wearing a red shirt. So I'm just going to get a little bit of red. I'm just going to drop it on there like that and just let it run in. And then this lady here, she needs to have some turquoise in her blouse. And there it is right there. Just drop a little turquoise in that. And this guy, I'm going to keep him in a black jacket because he's kind of dressed up, but I'm going to give him a little more white on his pants there. Maybe just a white collar just right there like that. Okay. And I'm done. Those are 3 people having a conversation. Unbelievable. Luann Smith, thank you for joining the show. Says you're new. Wonder what to do with big brushes. Lots of water. Yes. So here's why Bob calls them carrot people, because they look like carrots, right? So now you know. So it's his deal. He just says do a little head and then just squeeze it in like a carrot and bring it down like that. look at the guy's chin. It works. I'm going to hold this up closer and let you see it. Look at this guy right here. I promise you that's a grandfather with his hands in his pocket and his sweater pulled back and his belly sticking out. Come on! I'm not sure what yours says. Adult people are about 7 to 7.5 heads tall. In your case, the scale is off. Well, yeah, my scale is always off, Kelly. All right. But if you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 7.5 right there. We'll get out the scale next time. And here's the thing. I don't ever measure them, but I want it to look right by my eye. And so if I wanted to create a little more foot in this one, I could do that very easily. Okay. So, and when you're an anatomy drawer, you get into that. You get into scale, you get into size, unless you're doing foreshortening, unless the person's coming toward you. Then it's completely different. All right. I'm out of here like a herd of turtles. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being on the show today. Holy smokes. A lot of people on. Thank you for liking the show. Thank you for sharing the show. And I am going to reorder my bug out bags. It's going to be a while before they get in. I still have, I think now I'm at 15 mugs, 15 Roodoodles mugs with the Roo head painted on the side. This is a diner mug. It weighs 1.5 pounds. It's made by M Company. It keeps your drink warm. It warms your hands. You can put hot bacon grease in it, set it right into the fridge. If you're making gravy, you can milk one goat in it. And if somebody takes your purse, you can take them out with it. Blessings to you all. You're always fun. It's a great community. Right now, before you take the last sip, would you do this? Would you just think of 2 people and encourage one of them today in some way? Send them a text right now, call them, do something, and just say, hey, you know what? A little bird told me that I was supposed to encourage you today. So send a note out. Blessings to you all. See you here on Monday morning. And we'll go from there. All right. John Robert Small, carrot people or the cat's meow. And we're going to be talking. All right. Blessings. See you guys. I am out of here like a herd of turtles as soon as I find my harmonica.